She not only met her milestones, she kind of dominated her milestones.
So did.
What was that? What was the feeling? What stands out about those moments?
I just, such a relief. I, just cried from happiness. Like, the day they were like, she's good. She's going to graduate from PT. And I'm like, we didn't think we were going to get there. And none of us thought we were going to get there at the very beginning.
Welcome to the Experience Miracles podcast, where we help parents find hope, answers, and drug-free help to overcome your child's chronic health challenges. I'm your host, Dr. Tony Ebel, and I'll be sharing my experiences as both a dad and a doctor on every episode. I can take the latest science and neurology of healing and break it down in the most simple and relatable way possible. We'll take on the toughest topics and answer your biggest questions through interviews with other amazing parents and leading experts, leaving you with practical action steps that you can take to help your child heal and thrive. It's time to expect and experience miracles. Let's get started.
All right, parents, here we go again. This is one of my favorite types of episodes. We are digging in with those who this podcast is made for. Another amazing mom. Ewelina is going to join us, and I'll give you the details on Ewelina in just a second. But these particular episodes, they're totally different, right? Than when I get all nerdy and dive deep into the neuroscience of a condition or a topic, or when we bring on another practitioner and go extra nerdy there too. Really, it's the context. It's what you're going to be able to pull from these interviews. And this one with Ewelina is just really top of the pile at how much we speak to the heart of our mission, which is to say, hey, our kids oftentimes are going to go through something. Sometimes it's going to be genetic. Sometimes it's going to be purely from the perfect storm, right? Stressful pregnancy, fertility, interventions, birth trauma, toxicity, all these other sort of things that are just all over in our world. And sometimes it's a combination of both, but our kids are going to face challenges. I'd love to skip this part. I'd love to say that that's not true, but for many of us, it is true, has already proven to be true. And we're here on the podcast, right? We're getting after this kind of stuff to say, okay, well, we're in that storm now. We're facing that battle now. What is the best way that we get out of it? And I want to emphasize the word we there. Truth be told, that's the cheat code to unlocking healing for your children. It's your resilience. It's your adaptability. It's your ability to continue to move forward. And so on this episode of our Experience Miracles podcast, we are thrilled to welcome Ewelina, a mom and lifestyle blogger who radiates positivity and resilience even through the toughest days that she has been through with her beautiful kiddos. Ewelina is a proud mom of two incredible girls, both with their own powerful chiropractic healing stories that has redefined what's possible for their health and development. Today, we'll dive really deep into her little warrior, Maya, who's just truly crushing her milestones like a boss after a very challenging diagnosis and something she needed to get through early on. And we'll break that down in detail, and you'll really be blown away. And especially with this one, get into the show notes, click onto Ewelina's social media and Instagram page, and you just get to see these incredible pictures and videos that will really visually bring Maya's story to life. And through that, we will explore how the combination of nervous system focused care, physical therapy, just holistic natural health really work together to help Maya and this incredible family thrive in ways that the medical world would say those are totally out of reach. You do not want to miss this one. Maya's story is packed with hope, healing, and the kind of progress that makes you believe in miracles over and over again. I'm smiling just thinking of Ewelina and those girls and Steven, their amazing dad. What a family. What a perfect, absolute embodiment of this mission. I cannot wait for you to hear Maya's story, Ewelina's story, and this incredible family story. Let's get into it. Miss Ewelina, welcome to the Experience Miracles podcast. You're not nervous at all, are you?
Not even a little.
Do you think, so I know they won't come out on the same day, but we get to interview and jam with you today, and then the rock star and one of your besties, Miss Megan, next. Who's more nervous, you or her?
We're both equally as nervous.
Oh, you tied. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're
okay.
sweaty hands and all.
Well, I know you have been the biggest advocates for this mission and this work. You're living out this work with your beautiful girls, and we're going to talk all about that. And so I know you love to listen to these podcasts and jam with it. And would you agree, and I know I'm putting you right on the spot with this and to agree, but the science is amazing, but as a mom, stories really matter, right?
100%.
Yeah, it's where you really, really get the relatability and the intrigue to then go out and get the answers, right?
Yep.
So when we go into, so we're going to connect it to your incredible Instagram and the story that you put out there with your incredible family. And I have no doubt, because every time I see it, I'm like, how are these kids so cute? Like, your family is so joyful, so healthy, and just has so much. But, you know, and that's kind of how it goes sometimes with what's out there. But there's a lot of stuff you guys, to put it lightly, there's a lot of stuff that you guys have gone through as a family to get to this healthy, joyful, you know, thriving point. Yeah. So let's go there as we dive into Miss Maya's journey first. So let us know about Maya, about the challenges, the acronym, you know, BPES, and the challenges that your beautiful, courageous rock star daughter was born with, and how that led you down this whole PWC chiropractic path.
Yeah. So being at the hospital with Maya, when she was born, we noticed right away, she's my second daughter. So I feel like I was like, oh, I know what to do.
For
like,
sure.
I know what to look for, kind of like I've done this before. And she woke up and she wasn't opening her eyes at all. Like, you couldn't even see anything, like no eyelids, no anything. And, you know, being me and like just trusting your mom gut, I'm like, something isn't right. Yep. But you listen to the doctors and the nurses that are there at the hospital, everyone telling you like, oh, it's fine. She'll open her eyes in the next day or so. Yep. And I'm like, what do you mean she's going to open her eyes in the next day? Like, why wouldn't she open her eyes now? Like, everything else was fine. Right. And so give it a day. And then they kept saying, okay, she's fine. Give it another day or two. Sometimes kids don't open their eyes for 2 to 4 days. So it just kept, as she wasn't opening her eyes, they just kept saying, we'll wait another day, wait 2 more days. We went home, and again, we were just like, well, when is this, like, something's not right. Like, I can't even like see her eyes. Like, she's doing everything else right. Like,
stay there for a second for me, buddy. Everything else right. Like the bonding, the latching, the connection, her kind of, and again, brand new baby, literally showing up here in this world, but also your second baby. So, you know, so really able to connect and calm. Just the eyes at first, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And so we had gone to our pediatrician, and immediately when they walked in, they said, hey, like, I don't know what this is, but this isn't normal. Okay. Like, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't know, but like, let's get you somewhere that's going to tell you what it is. Okay. Which I appreciated that so much because once we get into it, like, her condition is very rare. And so not that everybody is going to know about it. Like, obviously I had no clue what it was. But just someone being like, I don't know. Yeah. But like, let's go find something out. Isn't right. Let's go find out.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
We had immediately went over to a specialist, and in my head, I'm just like, are they going to tell me she can't see? Like, is she blind? Like, I have a week-old baby going to a specialist, like an ophthalmologist, for pediatrics. And I remember they did all the tests, and like, they literally, how you have to force her eyes open because her eyelids are shut. Yeah. Like, there was like a tiny thing that you can see. And I remember her being like, okay, like, Mom, it's okay. Like, she can see. And I'm like,
awesome. Because isn't that how mom gut works? Mom gut, I don't think I've ever asked this question, but, you know, to get a little more like definitive of mom gut. Mom gut and dad gut tells us we know something's wrong, but it doesn't always complete the sentence and go, and here's what it is.
No.
Often it's just the gut that something is wrong, and it kicks you off on the hunt to find out what the heck it is.
Exactly. You just get this feeling like you just know. Whether it's good or bad, you just like, you have a feeling. And so then I remember her saying she has BPES. Yeah. So like, for short, she wrote me, I was like, I'm sorry, can you like write that down for me? So, I mean, it's a long, but the B stands for Blepharophimosis. Yeah. And I remember her like writing that down, and it's this whole word. So, and she was like, it's fine. We're going to get you into a specialist. You know, they're going to do more testing, all this kind of stuff. And I remember going home and just like Googling. Yeah. And I mean, after I found everything out, so, BPES really stands for Blepharophimosis, Ptosis, Epicanthus, Inversus syndrome. It's a whole mouthful, but I know it now. I know it very well. So we ended up at the specialist at UIC. After a couple of different testing, that's where we just found out that they really cared about her. So they did give her that diagnosis. So it's a condition, it's a genetic condition, which we found out later. It's a brand new strand for her. Like, she didn't get it from anybody. It's brand new. Yep. And it affects your eyelids. And then for females, it can affect your ovaries. Yeah. So there's testing that you can do later on, which a lot of it is unknown still. They're still in a lot of the learning stages. So eyelids and ovaries, random.
This diagnosis, again, it's kind of funny doing this on the podcast because you're part of our crew at PWC, so I do know the details, but I want to make sure that the team here. I feel like I'm always like taking a case history, then I got to change it or take it to the rest of the doc team. So we want to make sure everybody listening gets the details too. So the genetic diagnosis unique to Maya, definitely connected to those things, but one of the things we're going to talk about in a little bit here is the low motor tone. That wasn't necessarily directly connected to it, right? It's kind of our own perfect storm comes from it. Okay.
Yeah.
So as they get into intervention, what were they sending you down the road to do?
So really, they just wanted to make sure her vision was okay, which it was. And there was talk about surgery later on the road. But we just wanted to make sure they weren't pushing anything, which I appreciated. They're like, let's just see, she's a little girl. Like she's going to grow and her eyes are going to grow with her. Everything, her face is going to grow. But in the midst of that, we were going to our regular pediatrician, and they had diagnosed her with low tone.
Okay.
They kind of like consider her like floppy a little bit. And so, at that time I'm like, is it related? Is it just because she's not like fully seeing everything?
Right, to engage. What age did they first find the low tone?
I want to say like 4 months in.
And which pediatrician?
Kind of well-rooted.
Yeah, okay. So
Our favorites.
Okay, I'm pulling details out here because I promise you this. The average standard non-well-rooted pediatrician would not have picked up on her low tone and been able to get us and Dream Riders on the team to help. So
100%.
Maya's thriving. So much of this is because early intervention is the greatest term ever. We love it. Unfortunately, because you don't really get to the pediatrician, you don't get to the early intervention teams, and also bigger picture, the issue is that chiropractic right now isn't part of that. But anyways, you don't get down those roads to get help unless the pediatrician finds it first, and the pediatrician tends to try and squelch mom gut, because actually the sequence is this: mom gut, dad gut, always knows first. Pediatrician tends to punt, boot, say don't worry about it, but yours were different. Yep. So they said there's something here, and here's where you go. Man, I love that. That is
I know. I feel like if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in any of these places.
They're brilliant.
So I'm so grateful for them too.
Yeah, they're really brilliant. They're incredible. Okay, so then you got the eyes. The eyelids? That's a bit of a waiting game. They early on, did they tell you about when they thought to do surgery, or did they kind of leave that to growth and development?
Yeah. So we were seeing the surgeon and the ophthalmologist specialist kind of like once a month each. So like twice a month we were going down to UIC just to keep, as she was growing, they just wanted to maintain that, especially her vision. I mean, like it was the whole dilating her eyes, just like all the stuff. It was just really hard. And I mean, she was just such a champ. She went through everything so great. And we didn't have to have surgery until she was 2.
Awesome. Okay, so the low tone, awesomely, incredibly, I have to say that out loud because I'm like, oh my goodness, we never get to find this stuff this early. We were so stoked when you guys came in. The first thing we look at on every intake paperwork is not actually the condition, not the challenges, not the diagnosis. We look at the age, because that tells us kind of the neurological runway we have forward. Like the earlier you start, the better it is, plain and simple. So you got sent to PT first, right? Okay, so you get to Dream Riders and you get an evaluation. So what did they find and what began there?
So they did diagnose her with low tone. So we started that. We were waiting to get put on the horse, but we started an hour sessions weekly at PT. And I remember them telling me the same thing. They're like, "Are you going to PWC yet? Like, are you going to?"
How early did they jump right away?
Almost like right away. And I was like, everyone keeps talking about this place.
Yeah.
Like, I need to go.
Yeah. Longtime listeners for the Experience Miracles podcast, that is, I should look this up. I don't know the exact episode number, but we interviewed Beth. So our PT plus chiropractic, somewhere that's in the title, that is who we are referencing. And then Jessica also has been on this, and we got to get her back from Well Rooted. So these world changers are in Ewelina and Maya and your family's life to get this rocking and rolling. So she did a couple of sessions of PT, and then you get over to chiropractic. Do you remember? Let's go detailed again.
Okay.
So you meet us. We dive into case history. We get into the scans. What did you and Stephen as parents? What did you feel? What was the emotion when you saw the scans and the evaluation?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even before the scans, like walking into the office, like I started with myself first because I wanted just to see what everything was like. I used to work for a chiropractor. A regular, good old back pain, fine place. And so I wanted to see for myself what was going on and just like get a feel for the office, the doctors, the staff. And the first time I actually went home and I said, Stephen, I love this place. Like, I think I want to work there, which is really funny. But when we brought Maya there, one of the first things I noticed, which is like one of the biggest things for me is, when you have a child that's like that, you get a lot of stares and you get a lot of people asking a lot of different questions. And nobody did that here. Everyone just treated her like she was just a normal girl. And like for me, don't do it, Ewelina. And for me, that just meant like the world to me. Like they were treating Maya for Maya and not like for her condition.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah, big time. What a rock star mom move to put yourself. We'll have fun with it. Let me put myself in the line of fire. Let me see what these guys are all about. Let me get adjusted. Let me get on the table. Let's go through it. And actually, truth be told, you could neurologically map it out. I just had a long conversation with Dr. Ali, our other beloved, one of our other homies, about this. Like because co-regulation is such a big deal. So the majority of our patients, obviously, you now know you're on our team at PWC. They start with their kids first, and then we'll be getting momentum for the kid's nervous system healing. But mom and dad's nervous system are so exhausted and drag out. It'll actually drag down the healing. So in a way, you perfectly, wonderfully cheated the system by getting started first, so that when Maya was going, you already had that confidence, you had that excitement, and took it off. So Maya starts getting adjusted. What changes did you know? Her resilience, she makes it really easy to be joyful around. I'll tell you that much.
She really is.
So what did you start to notice first with your little rock star?
I noticed right away, even because we would schedule our appointments to go to get adjusted first and then go to PT.
Yeah.
And even just seeing her at PT, it made a world of a difference with her meeting her milestones, which we were just so nervous about. Like she wasn't sitting up on time and, she wasn't walking in time. And, you go through all these things like, is it related to her condition? Like, does this have anything to do with it? And I mean, she was just like crushing all of them, like with the combination of chiro and PT. I mean, like it was incredible. And they even noticed a difference too. Every time we came there, they're like, did you just come from the chiropractor? And I'm like, how did you, like, I didn't even tell them. And they already do. Just like her strength.
Yeah. Her ready state, her strength, her resilience. What happens when a kiddo is getting adjusted and then goes to PT, then goes to OT, then goes to speech is one, neurologically, they're in more of a ready state. Two, they're more synced up and efficient within the neuromuscular tone that the movement-based therapists need to retrain and improve. And then three, they have better endurance, right? Because they're just more rested and regulated. So she went in sequence from crawling to walking to running. What did it feel like? Because again, it's low tone. We all get online, right? Not only did you search your acronym, but I'm sure you searched tons on low tone and did your homework there. And it can be so scary. Oh, they're going to be so delayed. They may not be able to do this. What did it feel like when she was running, graduated PT, when you just saw her dominate? She not only met her milestones, she kind of dominated her milestones.
So did.
What was that? What was the feeling? What stands out about those moments?
I just like such a relief. I like just cried from happiness. Like the day they were like, she's good. She's going to graduate from PT. And I'm like, we didn't think we were going to get there. Like, and none of us thought we were going to get there at the very beginning. We thought it was going to be a couple years. And I mean, she did so great. And it's still wild to me, honestly, sometimes.
Yeah. Big time. How much of that? So we could go two paths with this one, and you would love, as a mom, I know you would love both because you know both. You now help us out, especially on the second one. The first one that we could go down and are not gonna is like all the science. I could do what I do on all the other podcasts, and I could be like, well, this subluxation and this thought, and
it's important.
I don't usually use my. Did I just use a nerdy voice to talk about me? I did. Okay. But also when you were at PWC, you were just circled. You and at Dream Riders. And at Well Rooted, right? So you have this community around you. How much of that do you think was healing for you and for Maya, and and played a role in how quick she healed and how far she healed? The community aspect, the empowerment aspect.
Yeah, it's huge. I almost feel like it's everything. It's how sometimes you just want to go to a place and just feel normal and just be heard as a mom. Just hearing from even all the girls' stories, at PWC, they're all just such amazing. All the CAs, they've become my closest friends now. And I'm so grateful for each and one of them sharing their stories because they made me feel like I'm not alone. Like we're all going through something and it's okay. And we're here to empower other moms. And that's how I felt like that. I felt like there was just a whole team of people supporting me and my family.
Can you remember one? Maybe actually even... I'll draw this question out a little bit to hopefully give you some time, see if one pops up, is do you remember one story, one CA, one conversation maybe in the midst of Maya's healing? Maybe one that came up while she was getting started and you had the scans and I'm sure you were seeing gains, but maybe you still had a lot to work on with her motor tone. We still were working on this with her different systems. Do you remember one of those early stories or early conversations that stood out?
The first person I remember talking to about her son is Crystal.
Cool.
Or Miss Crystal.
Yeah.
And our beloved Kaden.
Yeah.
And just seeing how just honestly her energy and her just love for like life, no matter what she was going through. I mean, it's still one of the biggest things in my life that I look for every single day. I feel like she taught me so much just about to enjoy every day and enjoy every birthday, you know, and don't let the little things, you know, get in your way, and just find the good in every single day. Like, I will never forget that.
Yeah. Yeah. We are spoiled at PWC between, well, I guess you are all both simultaneously patients and now team members, because we only hire from patients. So you come from it because we just see you guys. And it actually happens amongst the patients, right? They sit in those blue chairs, they sit in the community room chairs, and all of a sudden you just naturally, innately see this support network forming. It happens every single shift, right? And we don't, there's no sign sitting on a chair that says you have to talk to that person about low motor tone, or you have to talk to that person about sensory and sleep. Everybody just finds each other and starts to support each other. And we have a scale of support. We have a couple of our just absolutely beloved team members and family members whose beautiful kiddos are no longer with us, but they thrived and they far exceeded every expectation of the medical system. And then we have, you know, so it's the whole gamut, right? That is there. And that's a blessing to be a part of, isn't it, with our kids, where you're like, okay, I am here where everybody is working together to overcome these challenges. Let me ask you this. So we're going to go from the in-person brick and mortar, this happens locally effect with PWC that you've been able to be a part of. I know it's a huge thing for you to reach out to people digitally. And you were doing that actually even before you came to PWC. And then obviously your content, the nervous system got strongly injected into your content since then, isn't it?
Sure did.
So out on the internet and the Instagram, it isn't necessarily the default setting for everybody to support each other and empower each other, is it? So as a mom and as a mom blogger, and you know, and you absolutely positively are as an influencer in that space, how big of a deal is that for you in your content to just infuse empowerment into it when you see what maybe, you know, isn't happening in other parts of the internet?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, when I always loved the aspect of social media, connecting with different people across the world. It's not always the greatest place to be, but I feel like it's so powerful, and you have to make what you want it to be. And for me, I remember just searching everything about, like when I was Googling, I was looking at Instagram, is anyone sharing their story on this? And I wasn't finding a lot of things. So I started posting Maya's journey on my Instagram, and I made a blog about it. And honestly, even still to this day, there's so many people from all across the world that reach out to me and say, hey, I have a daughter, I have a son that has this, like, please tell me, what do I do? Like, I've seen so much just support and just like how you're living your life so beautifully. And you know, that's where I come in, and I'm like, so that people don't have to be in my shoes. They're going to find all these other people that have these beautiful kids with BPES, because they're perfect and wonderful just the way they are, living a good life. And I get to be that for somebody. I get to be that person that's, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, it might be hard now. You don't know of it. I didn't know of it either. But now I feel like more people are sharing, and more people are just being there for one another. And that's the greatest power of social media.
So let's stay there just one more layer deep, my friend, parent to parent. So at first, did it feel scary to tell her story? Yeah. Okay. Because it does. I love what you said first. So we got to wrap this all together. Not like we got to wrap, meaning like there's 3 layers here at least, and you kind of need to see them each. I think we got to be able to get us as parents to go 3 for 3 to then say, okay, I'm engaged. I'll do this now. Number 1 is you got to look at social media and the internet, not for, you got to look at it what it can be. I actually have so many chiropractic friends who have an incredible voice and incredible message, but they do know that maybe on a larger scale, social media and the internet can be negative. So they've just chosen to opt out. I don't like that strategy at all. You're not helping anybody if they don't know you exist. No. And the worst place for you was that beginning stage where you couldn't find anything. You couldn't find another story. You couldn't find a scientific article, right? You were looking for hope, and it was and it was an empty one. And so you've chose to step into that. So number 1, we just want to say, see the internet for impact. See being
100%.
Right, and that's incredible.
There's good out there.
There is.
There really is.
And if we don't feel like, I think you and I are wired this way, and God made us this way, like if there's not as much good as we want out there, well, we could at least add 2 more to the good pile, right? I'm like, okay, like instead of sitting around complaining about it, do something about it and get out there.
100%.
Number 2, you then immediately step into that servant leadership position for another family, where once you start telling your story, it gets the chance to pull another kid into a healing story. And number 3, has it been healing for you?
100%.
Yeah.
Every single time. I feel like it's, you know, I'm able to help other people. And that's honestly like, it makes me happier. And
yeah, it boosts your HR. It's a perfect answer, my friend, because the truth is they've actually studied this. You know, of course, I would bring in the nervous system. HRVs we're in this world, and I have this kind of love-loathe relationship. We're in a time right now. How many jokes have we made about 75 hard, right? And how I've made the joke. How many times do you do it? Twice, okay. And you and your homies at PWC. So my joke has always been, if you don't know about 75 hard, it's this, actually go ahead and say it. You know it inside out. What do you got to do for 75 days?
Work out twice for 45 minutes. One of them has to be outside.
Yeah. Even if it's winter.
Even if it's winter. So I would not suggest to do that because I wouldn't do it in the winter time. Drink a gallon of water a day. Read for at least 10 minutes, something motivational. Stick to a diet.
Yep.
No alcohol.
Yep. Yeah.
Am I missing something?
No, I think you hit it. And so she's done that twice, everybody listening, with two beautiful little girls working full time at PWC, being, you know, you take your Instagram serious too. You're always out there supporting and doing that. So rocked that. My joke with 75 hard is that there always should have been a like Facebook support page for the spouses, right? Well, you guys are to go through all that.
Like, what else do I need to do now? Are we going on another walk?
Yes. But the healing components of this are there because when you give out to others, it's actually been shown. So if we are so focused on ourselves, that's a really good thing. We've got to get our workouts in. We've got to get our adjustments in. So it's awesome. 75 hard is a big example of it. And I bring that up because I know it's personal to you. But it's great to have, here's how I take care of me and my nervous system. What has been shown, though, is the number one way to take care of your health, your happiness, your joy, and actually now we can track this with HRV, is when you are in consistent service to others. And there's a sweet spot. You know, you can kind of over-focus on yourself and you can under-focus on yourself by over-focusing on each other or on others too. So this is so cool. And I wanted to really go deep with your interview on this because you do such a great job. You have reached out to so many families who are now under care, not only at PWC, but at are you the leading community connection? I do believe, aren't you?
I might be.
Yeah, top spot. and so many others. And I think a lot of moms and dads out there that listen to this podcast, you are on your journey with your child healing. And maybe you're not all the way to the other side yet, but would you go ahead and encourage them to start sharing even while in the storm?
100%.
Okay.
100.
Awesome.
Don't wait.
Awesome.
Just share.
Awesome.
I feel like people will be really surprised at how many other people they can help with just sharing a little part of their story.
Awesome. Thank you. I know I got super granular detailed with that, but I wanted to make sure that those that are out there and this hits their heart with your story and Maya's story is to start sharing. Not only will it be healing for your Maya, for you, but it'll be healing for others too. And that's a 3 for 3. That's a +3 win there. Okay. So what would you say to so somebody reaches out and they're in the beginning of their journey. What is the first thing you share? What is the first thing you recommend that they do when they're beginning their healing journey? Yeah,
the first thing I recommend is kind of slow down and like it's okay. They usually already have appointments at their like ophthalmologist or wherever it may be. You know, they're from different places in the world. And they ask for my story, you know, what did I do? How did I feel? Which again is so nice that I'm able to share, kind of like give them almost like a couple steps ahead versus, well, I didn't have that. I literally didn't know what to do. But I always honestly tell them too, throughout all of this, with surgeries or not, because some kids may need it a little bit earlier. Some people may need it later. They always ask me if there's any milestones or anything that, again, like kind of what I thought. But I always do tell them, I'm like, I refer them to PX docs because I'm like, no matter what you're going through, like that's going to help.
And get a little sciencey for us, my friend. Why do you think the nervous system as the foundation is so important for healing, for not only what Maya was going through, well, actually just stay with the motor system, with all that. Why was nervous system healing so effective and so foundational for her?
Well, like you said, that's like the foundation for everything. Like I always say you can have all the supplements, all the PTs, and everything is so good. And like, don't stop with that. But if your nervous system isn't where it's supposed to be, then all of it doesn't work as good as it should be.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, my friend, anything else you would like to share about, and again, you know, we focused on Miss Maya here today. Make sure Big Sister doesn't listen on the podcast. She'll probably get a little salty, right? We'll have to come back and share her story.
She'll be jealous.
As a dad of multiple daughters, that's why I brought Elena and Amelia in here together. Remember when we had them do the podcast read? I was like, I can't ask one of you to do this, it's you. So actually, she is such a courageous, unbelievable, beautiful big sister. Why don't you share just a little bit more of your entire family story, and then just say to families out there, like, what is your final words of encouragement for them?
Yeah, I mean, so I have two daughters. Yeah. Maya, she's going to be 3 in June. Addie just turned 4 in January. Very spicy girls, which I love. They've been adjusted now since they were little. It's the one thing I recommend to every single human out there, no matter what. And even with Maya, when she had her surgery last year, and even the doctors were like, what are you doing differently? Like, she's healing so well. And I remember just getting her adjusted every single day for 2 weeks beforehand and afterwards. And her healing, like, she was jumping up and down the next day after her surgery when they were like, take it easy, like watch TV or something for a little bit. And she healed so great. And I owe that to chiropractic. And for all the parents and like listening, like, remember, we are moms, like, we're talking to you, and like, we are you, we hear you, we see you. And like, it's so, so important. And like, you're not alone, and reach out and share your story and find a PX docs near you.
That's true. Straight up. And where can they find your story and follow along? Spell it out for us, my friend. Because with your, by the way, if you haven't picked up on it, we got our Polish hope dealer extraordinaire right here. So what's your Instagram handle, my friend?
At Ewelina Dalka, but my name is with a W because we have no V's in the Polish alphabet. So it's EWELINA DALKA.
And
it's a hard one for everyone.
We're going to put it in the show notes, but I just had to have Ewelina spell it out, because when I married a Croatian and moved to Chicago, and I was like, what are these folks doing with these W's? Where have all the V's gone? And then in the Croatian, it's all C's. It's all C's, lots of V's, lots of C's, And so I absolutely love
V's.
it. No, none at all. None at all. Not allowed. But you know what is allowed? Just courage, all about family. All about family, all about courage, tough as nails, gritty, loving, compassionate, in a community. It's so, right? It's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah, I think of you. Every time I think of you and your girls, I see your parents, and just and all the beautifulness of them being on this story as well, and your whole unit, and Steven. Actually, when I picture Steven, he's on one of the 4-wheelers at the farm, probably, making you
That's
quite...
what he gets excited about,
making you quite nervous when I picture your husband, but and 100%. me too, if I'm being honest. But we love you. You are a world changer. Keep sharing your story. Keep sharing these girls' story. Who knows which of them, Addie, Maya, you two girls listening, we'll take you both for pediatric chiropractors at PWC. But I know one of them for sure is going to continue on this journey and be a chiropractor. I can just see it. So thank you for getting on here and sharing your story. You did amazing. Thanks, buddy.